Welcome, listeners, to Inside the Dragon's Lair, the podcast where we go beyond the box scores and dive into the people, stories, and moments that define Dragon athletics. During the show, our goal is simple: to inform, entertain, and celebrate athletics. Not just the competition, but the culture, leadership, and impact sports have outside the lines. Today's episode takes us into a compelling conversation about women's basketball. I'm joined by a representative and an athlete from She Got Buckets, a women-led sports organization dedicated to empowering Asian female athletes through competitive play, leadership development, and mental wellness advocacy. Their upcoming national tournament will be happening right here at Howard Community College, April 4th through the 5th, and will include athletes from all over the country. This year's tournament theme, Mind Over Hoop, seeks to highlight the connection between mental health and athletic performance. Joining us all the way from Los Angeles, California, I'd like to welcome a representative from She Got Buckets. She might be on the West Coast, but let's turn up the heat here in Columbia as she enters the Dragon's Lair. We here at the college are so excited to have you and host your tournament once again. Welcome to the show. To start us off, Nafeisha, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about your role with She Got Buckets?
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Nafeisha, and I work with She Got Buckets fundraising and public relations. I help shape our storytelling, partnerships, and national visibility, including this year's national tournament here at Howard Community College. I first got involved because I deeply connect with She Got Buckets' mission. As an Asian woman in sports and communications, I saw how rare it is to find a space that is intentionally built for women like us. Not just to compete, but to feel seen, supported, and empowered.
Excellent. And how did you get started with this organization?
At first, I'm just a player at the She Got Buckets tournament. And in those games on the court, I totally relationed with She Got Buckets missions and really touched by the opportunity it provides for us to meet other Asian women and become friends. And then I also personally was interested in contribute to this progressive to make the Asian women's sports more visible or to help other girls to get involved. Yeah, that's how I started.
Right on, right on. For listeners who may be hearing about She Got Buckets for the first time, how would you describe the mission behind the organization?
I think at She Got Buckets' core, it's a nonprofit dedicated to empowering Asian women through basketball. But it's bigger than just hosting the tournaments. We created an open and inclusive platform where women of all the skill levels can compete and build the confidence and form the community and develop the leaderships. She Got Buckets' mission is about access to the sports, to belongings, and to the opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Well, speaking on that, She Got Buckets focuses on empowerment, leadership, and mental wellness. What inspired the creation of an organization centered around those values?
When our founder, Alan Wang, founded She Got Buckets, it started from just a simple belief. It just basketball offers opportunities, not just to play, but to grow, connect, and survive. And for women, especially Asian women, often grow up without visible athletic spaces designed especially for them. And beyond that, sports environment can sometimes focusing only on performance, like their status, their wins, and their rankings. But we have seen firsthand that sports is more emotional, social, and deeply for human. So though the empowerment, leadership, and mental wellness weren't the extra values, they are the essential values. If women are mentally supported and they perform better, then lead better and carry that confidence into their careers and community, their lives beyond the court.
That's excellent. Yeah, it's a testament to how powerful sports are beyond the court. So as women's sports continue to grow in visibility and opportunity, From your perspective, why is it so important to create platforms specifically designed to elevate female athletes?
I think now the women's sports are growing, not only the visibility, but also the media coverage and the sponsorship. That is amazing for sure, but the representative still matters. Like when you create a platform intentionally designed for women, especially women from the underrepresented communities, you normalize the leadership and you make participants feel safe and powerful in that platform. I think the spaces like Shiga Buckets tell the athletes or other women who love sport that you don't have to prove that you belong.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about this year's tournament at HCC. The theme is Mind Over Hoop. So, can you tell us when the tournament is and what inspired the focus on mental health and athlete wellness?
Yeah, definitely. Our tournament 2026 Shiga Buckets National Tournament will take place April 4 to 5 here at Howard Community College. And this year's theme, Mind Over Hopes, which emphasize that how basketball shapes who women become, not just how they play. The inspiration first comes from the mental strength that basketball gave me and other women who play basketball. Our resilience on the court and the sadness, but also the growth after the defeat that really touched my heart to see how my friends growing and how they support each other. And secondly, it also comes from seeing the pressure female athletes that faces today. And also the basketball lovers like us, we are not professional, but we still have trainings like 4 times a week, and we have to deal with the injury. So balancing the academics, our careers, and also the expectations from the court, we wanted to intentionally center the mental resilience, emotional well-being, and support system. The theme I think this year we want to emphasize is just not about win the championship, but also about to walk away stronger.
Oh, I love that. And sports definitely teach resiliency. And like you said, you learn some valuable lessons after losing. You know, it teaches humility, teamwork, of course. So, yeah, a lot of great values you can get on the court that you can translate outside of that to your regular everyday life. So, why do you think conversations around mental health in athletics are becoming so important right now?
Mm, I think we are at a moment that nationally where mental health challenge among young women are rising, right? At the same time, student athletes or the students just facing unique pressure, academic demands, performance expectation, and the time management or the identity tied to sport. For a long time, athlete culture emphasized the toughness, like you can't show your weakness. But now we understand that mental strength and emotional awareness go hand in hand, right? When we talk about the mental health openly, we don't weaken the athletes, we strengthen them instead. That's really what Mind Over Hope stands for.
And beyond the competition, your tournament also emphasizes community partnerships and wellness resources. What are some ways the event supports athletes beyond the game itself?
Yeah, I think this is what Shigabaki is really proud of. First, our partnership with Howard Community College and Howard County reflects a shared commitment to education, personal growth, and community engagement. And beyond the game, we also highlight athletes' story about resilience in our social media, on our events, and we also partner with local institutions like Howard Community College Wellness Center to promote the wellness resources to athletes. And also we will create some networking and leadership opportunities to women to share their stories, to connect. And also we encourage the team dialogue around the mental health among the teams. And also the young women in the one space that make the conversation happen. So we want every participant to live with a stronger friendship, a deeper sense of confidence, and also some tools, some resource to handle their pressure. And also a reminder that they are not alone. Yeah, so when women are supported mentally and emotionally through the sports, through the court, the impact extends far beyond the court.
Wow. You all are making a big impact nationwide, and hopefully this can carry over internationally as well. I just wanted to ask, what do you miss most about being on the court yourself?
I think what I miss most is the power given by my teammates. Personally, I wasn't like good with the pressure or the failure, but every time when they're like a miss shoot or I do something wrong, my teammates always encourage me at first. They say, "Oh, it's okay. You always have a next shot. You can do it better next time." And that kind of encouragement would expand it to the daily lives when I go through some academic problems or when I having some pressure of finding a career. They will also help me with that. Said, "You got it. You are doing so great for this time, and yeah, you definitely will get better next time." Something like that. And sport is special, especially for international students or Asian women like us in a country apart from my families and my friends. I form a new friendship here, and that supports me not only on the court but also in my daily life.
Oh, warm in my heart. And thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much for sharing your time today, Nafisa. It's been an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It's inspiring to hear how She Got Buckets is creating opportunities and support systems for female athletes across the country. Of course, organizations like She Got Buckets would not be possible without the athletes. I'm really excited to welcome an athlete who will be participating in the upcoming tournament.
Hi, everyone. For everyone's listening to the podcast, I'm Sam, and I'm currently a freshman at USC. I've actually started playing basketball pretty late. I started in ninth grade, and I've been just kind of like playing with my high school basketball team for 4 years. I'm from an international school in Shanghai, and currently training and playing with the USC Chinese women basketball. My goal right now is to like keep practicing and playing for the CWB USC team till the moment that I graduate because I am just so obsessed with these group of people.
That's awesome. So let me ask, what drew you to participate in the She Got Buckets tournament?
I guess my experience is probably not representative of all participants who knows that they're going to play competitive basketball the moment that they get into college because at high school, I usually will consider myself as someone who's born talented or athletic for the sport because I thought the 4 basketball seasons in high school would kind of mark the end to my basketball career. And I actually never expected to play basketball, especially competitive basketball in college. But there was one day when I was walking into the gym and I saw these group of girls playing pickup. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can join. And after I really got to know these group of people, I feel the motivation again because I see how dedicated they are and how much love they have for the sport. So I guess that really encouraged me to like, I should be a member of a basketball team again.
Right on. Yeah, that tracks. It makes sense. So, as you know, basketball demands a lot, both physically and mentally. How do you stay focused and motivated during a game and or throughout the season?
First of all, I think break is needed. Just break in general after a game, before a practice, or just like even these timeouts in between those games. This is a very good moment of time for everyone in the team, including I think the coaches, to take a short mental break and to like get everyone resettled. And I think another huge source of motivation for me, again, I want to give the credits to my teammates. They really keep me focused and motivated throughout the season and on the court. I guess the encouragement and support really makes a huge difference because when you know the people that are around you standing on the court with you together are pushing and believing in you, it helps you to keep going even when things get a little bit tough and difficult. So I guess this is why I chose basketball in the start instead of any other sport is because this is really a team sport to me. So it's not like I don't know, like track and field or swimming. Like you're not just playing the game for yourself, you're playing for your team. And that motivates me and makes me stay focused. And it encouraged me to give out my best during the games.
And as somebody that played sports too growing up, I couldn't agree more. Great answer. So, this year's theme for the tournament, as you know, is mind over hoop. How important is mental strength or toughness when it comes to competing at a high level?
I actually think mental toughness is incredibly important when it comes to like competitive sport, especially at a high level. And I do want to answer this question from the opponent's perspective. Because believe it or not, your opponent can actually tell when you're getting nervous or upset or frustrated on the court. And once they see that, they'll often use it as like a huge weakness and start targeting you. So I think at that level, it's not just about the plays you're running or how skillful you are at the sport. It's also about this big psychological element to it. And I think this is why people often say that basketball is a mind game, because a lot of the times it's not about who has better skills, but it's about which team stays more composed and is more put together. Yeah, because you're constantly just seeing which team falls apart mentally first.
Yeah, that's a fantastic perspective. So, do you think that athletes today are becoming more open about talking about mental health? And why do you think this matters?
My personal impression would be that I think athletes today are becoming more open in terms of talking about their mental health. And just more people are willing to share and talk about their experiences. So, what I think has really changed, though, is that more people acknowledging that they really exist and that they mattered. And I think for athletes, this is especially important because they're often expected to present this image of being mentally tough all the time. So when you're competing at a high level, there's a lot of pressure. And one small mistake or moment of inappropriate behaviors can blown up all over social media, and suddenly everyone's making like harsh and cruel comments or assumptions about you as a person instead of an athlete. So it actually goes beyond the sport. So because of that, it can be harder for athletes to show their vulnerable side, but overall, I do feel like things are improving and more athletes feel comfortable speaking honestly about their mental health. Because at least in terms of for our team, we do try and like make a lot of communications if anything happened, if anyone in the team is upset, no matter it's because of like personal reasons or something happened on the court, we try to talk it out, and we feel like that is really a big part of sport.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always going to be haters out there. You got to be like rubber and just let it bounce off of you. But mental health really is half the battle. And I agree, raising awareness about how it's okay to feel things and express them just important to thriving as a human being, because we're all going to
Right.
feel these things. And yeah, you got to block out the haters at the end of the day, which is another good thing sports can teach
Real
us.
talk, real talk.
So, what does it mean for you to compete in an event that is specifically designed to elevate women in sports?
Personally, I'm really happy to see that there are more events and platforms created specifically for women in sports. And why that is important to me is that I feel like sometimes there's this mindset in me, or just like I think around me, that is like, if you're not ready to play at a very high level, do you really deserve an opportunity to compete? Or like, is there really a point for you to compete? But I feel like, on the other hand, if people don't get these opportunities to really show what they've got, how are they supposed to improve in the first place? So for me, events like this is very important because they're just creating spaces for women, female athletes in general, to grow and gain experiences. So I guess the purpose really is not to showcase the best players. Well, partially it is, but it's also about encouraging more girls to keep playing, keep practicing, and to feel like they belong and they are really included in the sports community.
Yeah, fantastic explanation. So, looking ahead to the tournament, what excites you most about competing and being a part of this event?
I feel like one of the things that excites me is definitely getting to know more people, because I really get a chance to travel to the East Coast. So I think it's very important for me to bond with other women who also has put in so much effort and dedication to the sport, and we can have like all sorts of conversations about our experiences, our journey to basketballs, and our future plan. Another thing I'm really looking forward to is that I know there's going to be a stand-up comedy prepared for all the athletes. So I'm really excited about that because I love stand-up comedies. I'm also excited to bring my thick jackets because they really get an occasion to showcase their talent in LA.
Yeah, you probably get like a week worth of rain out there, and here it's like every other day. And like I said, it was 80 yesterday. It's snowing today. You never know what to expect. So you could show up and it's 90 degrees or it's snowing. We don't know yet. So to be determined.
Okay.
And let me backtrack because I accidentally skipped a question here. What is something you wish more people understood about women's basketball and female athletes in general?
I think this is an interesting question because I feel like when people talk about women's sport, especially like in the contemporary context, when we're like talking a lot about inclusivity and then like gender discrimination, the conversation is usually pretty positive, and that's good because we are telling more people to watch like girls basketball games or encouraging like people to show up for women's sports. But for me, I feel like it should just not be about blindly cheering or feeling obligated to support women's games, because I think it is more important to have honest recognition. And I feel like our mission to reach a point where people watching the women's games don't have to pretend that every female athlete is the best player in the world, to the point where no one has to force compliment. When you're seeing a woman who is incredibly talented, working extremely hard, and performing at a high level, just know that she deserves the same acknowledgement and respect that any other athlete would get. Recognize people for how good they're performing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that either. And final question for you. Just for fun, what's one game day ritual or routine you always stick to before stepping on the court?
I would share a pretty simple one, but I think it's also crucial at the same time. And that is, I feel like it's very important to have that team breakfast together because it's a moment where everyone kind of like shares whatever they're thinking of. And then to go over the plays, that's very important. And just talk about however you're feeling right now, whether it's like hate comments toward your coaches or just like giving each other's compliments. Like, feel free to share any of like your thoughts while you're taking in all the nutrients to get ready for the game. I just feel like that is incredibly important and a moment where everyone can kind of like detach from a sports context and then truly bond with like each other.
Yeah, family meal.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you so much for sharing your time today. It's been a privilege and pleasure getting to know you and your mission, and I'm looking forward to the tournament. You might just see my face there. So
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ladies, thank you so much for joining us today and stepping inside the Dragon's Lair. We appreciate you sharing the mission behind She Got Buckets and the importance of the work you're doing to support female athletes and mental wellness in sports. Today's conversation reminds us that basketball offers so much more than competition. It offers opportunity, confidence, community, and the ability to grow both on and off the court. Organizations like She Got Buckets are helping create spaces where female athletes can compete, lead, and feel supported. If you'd like to learn more about She Got Buckets and their upcoming events, be sure to visit their website at shegotbuckets.org. Once again, that's shegotbuckets.org. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay connected. You can find Inside the Dragon's Lair and all of Dragon Podcast content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Dragon Podcasts. And be sure to follow HCC Athletics and Dragon Podcasts on social media for more stories and behind-the-scenes coverage. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time, right here, Inside the Dragon's Lair.